as they say, you pays your money, you takes your chance. I used to support BASC because I thought there was an association that supported our way of life. But unfortunately, is it a relationship you can trust, or are we being sold down the river? So when I phoned the number, advertising training, to ask about how they train, when they train, about block bookings for this summer, unfortunately there was no answer from BASC, because the telephone number is a member of BASC. They obviously want to get into dog training. As you can see, they're using the BASC logo. I'd be very interested to know what their policy is, because recently they've took a back seat and not got involved with the e-collar debate. Actually said some positive things about the e-collar debate, that there's certain dogs that do need correction. So are they saying that's okay? You don't have to be a purely positive trainer. But look how they word the advert. Join us for a novice training day. Novice. Open to all breeds of gun dog. Why not open dogs as well? This is a relaxed and informal day with trainers from West Berkshire Gun Dog Club. Now, can West Berkshire Gun Dog Club use discipline, or are they selling a purely positive? This is what I wanted to ask. Unfortunately, nobody wants to talk to Chris Upton when it comes to BASC, and I understand why. They don't like answering awkward questions. They sit on the fence. Like I said, they are under two umbrellas, and the two umbrellas are the fact that a lot of money at these scurries are made for BASC, and they tap into the fur baby people, the snowflake world, as well as the gun dog world. So they don't want to upset either side. Now what you've got to realize is, if you look at this picture, everybody else has got this picture. It says, have you tried to adopt a dog from rescue centres and been refused because you want to train it to work in the field? If so, we'd love to hear from you. Please PM us or contact details and a bit of information. Notice how I can't send anything. Notice on this feed, you look at your feeds or look at BASC feed and it says make a comment. Notice how I can't make a comment. Why can't I make a comment? Because BASC have closed me down from freedom of speech, because they feel that Chris Upton is a threat to them because Chris Upton says it the way it is. Right? This is the problem with BASC. They want open debate. They ask for open debate, and yet they close the debate to anybody who may be derogative about their organisation. Now what I can say is, at one point I fully supported BASC and I was a member. But I have no time for BASC really, because of their attitude and their lies and slander against me. And this is the problem. When you stand up to these big businesses, these big organisations, they close ranks. That's what they do. They don't believe in freedom of speech until they want to say something. And that's the biggest problem with these organisations. These organisations are manipulating what they want you to believe. And that's exactly what they're doing. This is nothing to do with rescue centres and working dogs. This is just to try and win hearts and minds with certain people in the gun dog world, when in reality they'll do very little about it. Because an organisation as big as this, who people pay into, should be presenting and representing you, the paying customers, the people who put your money in their pockets for the fat cats to have the cream. And that's what they do. They sit in their ivory towers and they get involved if it is beneficial for them. Look what they've done. They've sold so many of us down the road, and people have pulled away from BASC. And all I'm saying is, if they get this wrong and they go in the wrong direction with this, they could lose so many genuine gun dog people. Just because you use discipline and correction does not mean that you're cruel or it's barbaric. and I see that, are they going to follow the Kennel Club, UK Kennel Club direction and start saying purely positive? Because I've got tape recordings of trainers that they use, and the trainers use their BASC logo. They pay them a percentage of the people that come into them for training. I know that those trainers use discipline and correction, but I don't want to name and shame, do I? So, BASC, you want feedback? I'll give you feedback. I'll give you feedback of what's really happening out there. These rescue centres are purely positive, and that's why people can't get these dogs out of these rescue centres. These gun dogs that stay in rescue centres for years and years because of the purely positive and a dog behaviourist attitude and their ideology that they sell, that you've got to give the dog love and affection to get the dog to want to be with you, love you to death, and you've got to feed it treats non-stop. If that's the case, why aren't these behaviourists and why aren't these purely positive people getting these dogs out of these rescue centres by putting a few months' work into them? This poor dog stands no chance because of the criteria that they set for this dog to be released. I've gone out of my way to try and help this dog and help people adopt this dog, and because of the way we train, the society will not let us take this dog and prove that we can train the dog. Because what does that do, BASC? It actually shows people that the purely positive movement and their ideology is false. It's lies. It's peddling slander. It's snake oil salesman. In reality, this poor dog could be turned around and given a wonderful life, but this dog is on death row. Or is he going to stay there for the rest of his life because they've got a no-kill policy? But guess what? Pretty picture of this dog brings in money, doesn't it? That's what it's about. It's all about the money. So if I was you, BASC, I wouldn't sit on the fence on this one. I would actually motivate yourselves and think, hang on, if we can't use discipline on dogs, why are we asking for membership money from people in the shooting world? Because let's start with the shooting world to begin with, shall we? Because that's your area of expertise. Or is it? Is your area of expertise the fluffy gangs, the snowflakes, who go and throw money at scurries because they like the game fairs? They're part-time dog trainers. They go there because they want to walk around and pretend they're gun dog people. We live in the real world. I'm not against them. What I'm against the hypocrisy of your company. That your company sit on the fence and only get involved when it suits you. You play the political game over anything, and that's a shame, and that needs to be addressed. Now, I don't mind debating with you, so why don't you come on a debate with Chris Upton and bring your top people? Because you've already sent me messages saying if I continue being derogative about the BASC, that your lawyers will be involved, and I'll be end up in court for libel. For slander. This isn't slander. This is free speech. This is saying it the way it is. You're entitled to your opinion, and I'm entitled to my opinion. What I'd like to know is, what is your opinion? I don't think I'll wait for your reply. I know I'm a little bit outspoken and controversial because I say it the way it is. But if you don't believe me, why don't you get hold of Gable's Dogs and Cats Rescue Centre and ask them about this true story about this lovely, beautiful dog that absolutely stands no chance of getting out of this rescue centre because he's got so many limitations of what you have to adhere to get this dog out. We have done our best to get this dog out. It's an absolute disgrace. These rescue centres should be there to rescue dogs, and I think some of them generally do a fantastic job. I'm not rubbishing all of them. I'm not even rubbishing this one in a derogative way. I'm just saying it in a truthful way. This dog should have been given the chance. I'm a professional trainer. I offered to take this dog and turn this dog's life around, and the rehoming centre refused. And I wasn't having it for myself. Clients of mine went in there, saw this dog, fell in love with it, and said, could you help us? We'll pay for that help. And I agreed to do that. they had to address what they were going to do with the dog. And I spoke to the rescue centre and went round to see this dog to assess it, to make sure that it was suitable for them or whether they were wasting their time. They turned me down blank. This dog is still in that rescue centre a year to the day that I went round to try and give this dog a quality of life. This is what is happening. These centres should not take in these dogs that they don't know how to readjust the behaviour. This is not a real problem dog. It's become a problem dog because it's not been addressed. The longer you leave this, the more institutionalised this dog becomes. And that's the real problem with some of these rescue centres. I'm not anti-rescue centre. I'm not anti-BASC if things are done right. I'm anti-idiot. I'm anti-establishment that manipulates stories to suit themselves. This poor dog needs to be highlighted for what is going on in its life.